According to research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be at the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Spelling. We spell words to pronounce a prison sentence or term. The first thing you learn when you go to school is how to spell. Words are spelled to create a sentence of terms. Think of a jail sentence or a prison term. The Wyrd sisters in Greek mythology were fates or witches who controlled the fates of man. In our language, we use curse words and cursive writing. We cuss and we discuss. Words have meaning and are mean things, especially crosswords. They can be used to make a point. We use a converse to converse in order to keep us off course in our discourse as a phrase. We use catchwords. A story is a spell or a spell. It is all part of the gospel of the Godspell or God's spell. Books contain chapters. What is a chapter? A chapter is a secret society or a religious order like the Knights Templar. A chapter contains many pages. What is a page? A page is an understudy and in service to the queen and king, as in pages and squires. A knight who is well versed in magic and is more or less a soldier or trained assassin. To page someone is to summons them. Pages summon demons to enslave or imprison our souls. After all, a page does contain many sentences. A jail sentence is served in a prison ward. And indeed, a sentence is created by words that are spelled out by using letters. A letter is someone who allows something to happen or someone who does something for someone else, like a blood letter. Language. We languish in our languid language. Languid means weak and lacking spirit, or void of animation, lifeless, and languish, which means to lose strength or animation, be or become dull, feeble or spiritless, lackadaisical, listless. How are we imprisoned by our language? Think about a book. The word book as a verb means to arrest or detain. Bookum dano. In fact, the Latin word for book is liber, which is where we get our word library and also the word liberty. You can book a reservation, which means you're paying for the ownership of something in advance. You can book or place a bet on a game or race with your bookie. Yes, there is a bet being placed on a race, and it is the human race, and the game is the game of life. It is the main bet or the alphabet. In a group of monkeys, the alpha monkey is the primary monkey or the one in control. Words mean things. Most words have multiple meanings and synonyms, not to mention many anagrams which the subconscious mind can recognize. Factor in its homophones such as there, and there, and it can get quite confusing to keep track. What effect does that have when words with almost opposite meanings are homophones? Think about no and no. Knowledge is considered a very positive word, yet it is linked phonetically with the most negative word in our language. So, when you say, I know this to be true, are you partially negating its reality? Consider the above statement in which the letters of the words have been rearranged, yet you still should be able to read it without problem. This means your subconscious mind should also relate multiple meanings to words have many anagrams. So it shouldn't be any problem to associate God as good, the devil as evil. Now consider the following word relationships: live, evil; God, dog; love, evil. Pronouncing the words as a pronounced effect. The science of cymatics shows how all spoken sounds take on a vibratory geometry or shape, like how you can blow smoke rings by forming your mouth into the shape of an O. The Tibetan monks show how sound can be used to form geometric patterns in a plate of sand particles, so the spoken word can indeed create reality. Also consider the mind's ability to combine words and sounds. When someone sneezes, you feel customary obligated to say, bless you. But if you sound out the syllables, does your subconscious mind also make the connection to the phrase, be less you? So the very act of blessing someone can also be subconsciously telling them to be less. This is spellcasting. How are we being programmed through our language to go to the sun or hell? Hello! Helios was the Greek name for the sun. The sun is English, as well as other languages such as Latin, is called soul. We are all said to be souls or to have a soul. We have a solar plexus and our feet have soles. Soul is sun in Latin. You are called a person pertaining to the sun. When a male child is born, he is called a son. The word for son is Sonny in German. Hu was one of the 12 gods in the Egyptian stellar cult, which could explain why we are humans. Colors and hues originate from the light of the sun. Politicians encourage soldiers or soul dyers to go to war for God and country. Of course, when they die, they will go to another dimension. Die, men, son. Have you ever wondered why we use the word hello to greet each other? After all, the word can be reduced to hell, the fiery place of eternal punishment, and the suffix O, which means associated with. In Greek mythology, Helios, which means sun, was the god of the sun. Is it just a coincidence that you have a soul and that our sun is called soul? If so, why do we call those who die in battle soldiers or soul dyers? Is that why we say, good morning, when the sun rises, because it is good to see the sun, because it gives us life. But we are mourning those who sacrifice their souls to make it possible. Why do we call our male offspring sons? You are called a person. Is it because you pertain to the sun? How to ruin a language with rune magic. Do some of the letters or building blocks of our language contain within them a blueprint for the control and possession of our spirits? English has Germanic origins, and it is likely that the English letters have their roots in the Germanic runes, which were used for magic and casting spells. Runic magic, he states, uses the runes to affect the world outside based on the archetypes they represent. Runic magic entails being in possession of a physical entity that is engraved with any or all of the individual runes or stavs, so as to practically work with their energies. The individual runes are redeemed with either blood, dyes, or paints. The act of possessing the stave in its final form serves the purpose of affecting the world of form with the rune might of the particular stave. After use, the staves are discarded or destroyed. Each rune has a certain sound to it, to be chanted or sung. The sound has in common the phonetic value by which it is represented. This act of singing or chanting is supposed to have more or less the same effect of using the staves in their physical form. Many of the letters of the English alphabet come directly from the Germanic runes, which were used for magic and spell casting and for causing ruin. Look at how many English letters you can identify from the ltteer rune set. Grammar or grimoire. The word grammar comes from grammars, which are old Latin books on syntax and diction. The ancient magic books of Europe, which contained instructions to summon demons, were known as the grimoires, French word for grammar. A grimoire or spell book is a Cmatic visible. Sigils. Cotia spell books were used for conjuring up demons, and each demon had its own sigil and name. The pronunciation and sound of words affects the matter around us. The science of cymatics is the study of sound vibration on matter, and it has been demonstrated with sand on plates that vibration can cause geometric patterns. Why do Christians conclude their prayers by invoking the name of an Egyptian deity, Amen, who had the body of a man and a ram's head, when Satan is depicted as a horned god having a goat's head? Why does the American dollar bill, known as a buck, have an Egyptian pyramid on its reverse side accompanied by the Latin phrase Annuta copius novus ordo secorium, which can be translated, announcing the birth of a new world order? Why does the American military wear a chevron as an insignia patch when the word derived from the French word chèvre, which means goat, and on the Egyptian city of the sun? Why does Christmas, the birthday of the Son of God, coincide with the birthday of the Son of God at the winter solstice? The 3 days when the sun is at its lowest point on the Southern Cross appears to stand still for 3 days. and then rises or is born again. Is this why Easter is celebrated during the spring equinox when the east star, the sun, has risen? Why is Santa an anagram for Satan? I can go on and on about this. And with that said, this is a little bit of an introduction into the grammatic nature of the English language, the runes, and the power of the spoken word. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say, for words have power. For there is much power in the spoken word. In love and light, blessings be to thee, my brothers and sisters.